A shocking clue may have just changed everything we thought we knew about the desperate, heart-pounding situation involving Britt and Rocco. For days, we have been watching them run, trying to stay one step ahead of the shadows, surviving on pure adrenaline and sheer willpower. But, guys, something isn't adding up anymore. We've been led to believe that this was just a standard evasion tactic, a simple game of cat and mouse across state lines. But the stakes have just skyrocketed into a realm of pure, unadulterated danger. The kind of danger that leaves permanent collateral damage in its wake. We are not just looking at a runaway scenario anymore. We are looking at a collision course of epic proportions that will shake the very foundations of this show. Let's set the stage here properly. We all know that Ross Cullum is an absolute predator. He is a relentless hunter who uses the full, terrifying weight of the WSB to crush his targets without a second thought. He has been gathering intelligence, closing in on his prey, and tightening the noose with every passing hour. But the new information that just leaked out, it changes the entire landscape of this pursuit. Cullum isn't just looking for them to ask a few questions. He is preparing for a full-scale war. And the truly terrifying part is, Britt and Rocco might not even realize just how immense the crosshairs on their backs have become, or how close the wolves actually are. A new detail could expose the truth of exactly how this is all going to go down in flames. The initial leaks indicated that Cullum just received a massive new lead regarding Britt and Rocco's whereabouts. Specifically, the final trace of an abandoned vehicle left behind near Akron, Ohio. Now, on the surface, this looks like a classic textbook misdirection. A decoy car left behind to make the WSB think they are heading east, while they double back, change vehicles, or go completely off the grid. It is a smart move, the exact kind of tactical evasion we would expect from someone as sharp and resourceful as Britt. But something feels off. Why Akron? Why leave a trace that the highly trained agents of the WSB could find so quickly and easily? If you ask me, this wasn't just a clever decoy. It was an act of sheer, unadulterated desperation. Britt is brilliant, yes, but she is also incredibly vulnerable right now. We all know her tragic medical history. We know the ticking time bomb of her genetic condition, the Huntington's disease, that has been haunting her every step. What if leaving that car wasn't a calculated tactical decision at all, but a forced error? What if they had to ditch the vehicle because Britt was physically incapable of continuing the drive? Think about the frantic state of mind Rocco must be in right now. He is young, he is absolutely terrified, and he is trying to protect a woman who is rapidly deteriorating before his very eyes. The abandoned car in Ohio isn't just a clue for Cullum to follow. It is a massive, glaring red flag for us as the audience. It tells us that their resources are fully depleted, their mobility is severely compromised, and their time is running out significantly faster than anyone ever anticipated. They are cornered, whether they know it or not. This is where we need to start connecting the dots, because the picture it paints is absolutely terrifying. Cullum firmly believes they are trying to throw him off the scent, but he is also utilizing the terrifying technological might of the WSB to counter their moves. We are talking about military-grade operations here, blocking GPS signals across entire regions, triangulating burner phone locations in real time, and activating a sprawling, intricate network of moles and insiders buried deep within local law enforcement. Cullum is operating at the absolute peak of his predatory capabilities, leaving no stone unturned. But it may not be a coincidence that just as the WSB ramps up their technological dragnet, another major, heavily armed player is entering the board. Enter Sonny and Brick. You see, Sonny is not going to just sit back in his office and let the federal government snatch up Rocco and Britt. Rocco is family, blood ties that Sonny will die to protect. And Britt is deeply connected to the memory of Jason Morgan, a bond Sonny honors above almost everything else. Sonny and Brick are not just passively looking for them. They are actively racing against the most powerful intelligence agency in the world to get to them first. That's where things become interesting. We have two incredibly powerful, fiercely determined factions hunting for the exact same people, but with entirely opposite motives. Cullum wants to capture, interrogate, and likely imprison them at all costs. Sonny wants to rescue, extract, and hide them. Brick is a technological genius, perhaps one of the few people on the planet who can genuinely go toe-to-toe with the WSB's cyber division. If the WSB is triangulating signals, you better believe Brick is trying to mask them, reroute them through the dark web, or even intercept the WSB's own encrypted communications to figure out exactly where Cullum's strike teams are heading. If this is true, this could explain a lot about why the tension in Port Charles has been so incredibly thick lately. Sonny has been quietly mobilizing his resources, speaking in hushed tones behind closed doors, preparing his enforcers for a major, violent confrontation. He knows that if Cullum gets to them first, Britt and Rocco are going to disappear into a black site, and he will never see them again. The race is officially on, and it is a dead, breathless sprint to the finish line, with the lives of two people hanging in the balance. But the bigger question is, what happens when the runners can no longer run? Here is the massive, mind-blowing theory that could blow this entire storyline wide open. We know Britt's illness is a massive, unavoidable factor in this chase. What if her condition doesn't just flare up? What if she suffers a complete, catastrophic relapse while they are completely off the grid? Imagine the horrific scenario. Britt falls completely unconscious, her body seizing, unable to move, unable to speak, her physical form failing her entirely in the middle of nowhere, miles away from safety. Rocco, entirely alone and panicking beyond belief, will have absolutely no choice. He cannot treat a severe neurological collapse in a dirty motel room. He cannot keep driving down back roads with a dying woman in the passenger seat. He will be forced to make the most dangerous, risky decision of his entire life. He will have to break cover and take her to a private hospital or an urgent care clinic to save her life. And the exact second he does that, the second a doctor runs her real name or Rocco uses a phone to call for specialized medical help, boom, a massive, undeniable beacon is lit up on the grid for the whole world to see. This is the explosive, heart-stopping climax we are rapidly hurtling toward. That beacon isn't just going to ping on Brick's high-tech monitors in Sonny's secure office. It is going to light up the WSB headquarters tracking screens like a Christmas tree on the 4th of July. Both factions, Sonny's mob and Cullum's federal agents, are going to get the exact same location at the exact same moment. The private hospital instantly transitions from a place of healing into ground zero for a war zone. This is where the true, unfiltered horror of the situation sets in. Imagine the terrifying screech of tires in the hospital parking lot. Sonny's heavily armed enforcers, weapons drawn, arriving at the exact same moment as Cullum's tactical, body-armored WSB strike team. The sterile hospital corridors instantly transformed into a deadly claustrophobic choke point. Sonny is there to rip Rocco and Britt out of the fire by any means necessary. Cullum is there to slap federal cuffs on them and drag them kicking and screaming into the abyss. If this explosive theory plays out, the aftermath will be utterly catastrophic for every single person involved. We are talking about a literal, heavily armed Mexican standoff in the halls of a medical facility surrounded by innocent doctors and nurses. If you ask me, Sonny is not going to back down. He has drawn lines in the sand before, but when it comes to the safety of his family, Sonny will cross any boundary, legal or otherwise. But firing on fully badged WSB agents? That is an act of war against an international intelligence organization, a line even the mob boss rarely crosses. Who loses in this horrific scenario? Everyone. If Sonny's men open fire to protect Rocco, Sonny instantly becomes public enemy number one on a global scale. His entire criminal empire could face the full, unyielding, destructive wrath of the federal government. Cullum would have the perfect, legally justified excuse to tear Sonny's entire organization down to the studs, arresting everyone in his orbit. And what about poor Rocco? The severe trauma of watching a bloody shootout unfold just to keep him and an unconscious Britt out of WSB custody will shatter his young mind completely. And let's not forget the terrified people waiting back home in Port Charles. Think about Dante and Lulu. How are they going to react when they find out their precious son was caught in the deadly crossfire of a mob versus WSB war? Dante is a sworn police officer. His loyalties are already stretched to the breaking point. If his own father goes to a shooting war with the WSB over his son, Dante's entire moral universe will collapse. There may be more to this story regarding how Dante might try to frantically intervene, but by the time he gets his badge and gun to that hospital, it might be far too late to stop the bloodshed. The potential collateral damage here is simply unthinkable. Britt is lying helpless in a hospital bed, hovering precariously between life and death, completely unaware that a literal war is being waged just outside her door. Whoever wins that standoff gets to decide her ultimate fate. If Cullum wins, she likely dies in a cold, sterile WSB holding cell without proper medical care. If Sonny wins, she becomes a permanent fugitive harbored by the mob, never able to see the light of day or live a normal life ever again. There are no good outcomes here, only varying degrees of profound tragedy. Guys, we may be looking at the beginning of something huge, something that will permanently alter the fabric of this show. The pieces are all moving into place for a violent confrontation that will forever alter the power dynamics of Port Charles and everyone who lives there. The abandoned car in Ohio was just the appetizer, a small taste of the desperation to come. The real main course is the inevitable, violent, earth-shattering collision between Sonny's unwavering, fierce loyalty and the WSB's cold, calculating, unstoppable ruthlessness. The truth could be closer than anyone realizes right now. Every time Rocco anxiously looks at his phone, every time Britt takes a staggered, painful breath, the clock ticks louder and faster. The WSB is listening to every frequency. Brick is watching every satellite feed. The trap is set not by malicious intent, but by the cruel, undeniable reality of a failing human body. Someone may not be ready for what's coming next, and frankly, I don't think any of us sitting at home are truly prepared for the absolute chaos that is about to erupt on our screens. Keep your eyes peeled, keep your theories coming, because the very moment that hospital door swings open, the entire landscape of this beloved show is going to burn to the ground. We will be watching every single frame, analyzing every single look, and breaking down every single word. Because when the bullets finally start flying, there will be absolutely no turning back for any of these characters. Stay safe out there, keep hunting for clues, and remember, in Port Charles, the deadliest secrets are always the ones hidden right in plain sight.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.